Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today we're looking at Jones on Fire. This is a 2013 game when it was released on Steam, but I remember it specifically playing it on my cell phone, so it may have been a little bit earlier on mobile. I wanted a little bit more 2D platforming after not really getting very much in Epic Mickey 2. Which is not a game I particularly could recommend. I was going to play Castle of Illusion remake on Steam, but that game is in such a terrible programming state that the first time I ran it, the volume was really low. Every time for a dozen times after that, the volume didn't work at all. So much so that it actually crashed, I think, my audio drivers on Windows, which is just something you shouldn't be able to do at all. And then after a reboot, I could get the audio to work, but then the issue became an issue certainly of getting the video to work. So I fiddled with Castle of Illusion, which is not this game, quite a bit before finally realizing that even if I somehow magically got it to work, which it's a much prettier game compared to this low polygon platforming roguelike game, which is a little bit different. So yeah, it says welcome to Jones on Fire. Jones is our female-ish, I suppose, fire lady. It looks like this is the first time playing the game. Would you like to check out the tutorial? It's super short and super useful, we swear. We super swear. So let's go through the tutorial. Now, basically you're saving cats. Left click lets you... Well, let's see. I guess we'll use the keyboard instead of the mouse. So let's move the mouse cursor out. Now, I was hoping that this game would have controller support and... Well, wait a minute. Let me plug in my controller and see if maybe it does. It doesn't seem like it does. Any platformer in a game, you definitely would want controller support. Sorry. Leaning over to drop the controller a little bit less. So you're collecting kitties as your currency. You're avoiding fire. We can use up arrow to jump. Your Emma Jones firefighter. Press down to slide. You can sometimes jump or slide, and you capture as many cute kitties as possible. And then you get back to your menu. Saving kitties gets you K, saving gold kitties gets you GK. Both are used in the store to upgrade your abilities. We're giving you a free 150K, so you can upgrade one right now. Tweak the controls. Tweak the controls, tap the menu button in the upper right hand corner after the tutorial. Yeah, and so on a cell phone, these simplistic controls would probably make a little bit more sense, in that tapping the screen would make you jump and probably had to swipe down or something more complicated to slide downward. Now, by the number of reviews on Steam, you'd think that this is a super niche game that really didn't have any relevance, but that's probably true, actually, come to think of it. It was something I definitely saw and heard people talking about, but a game like this, much like a more modern game like Vampire Survivors or what was the one before that, Time Loop Heroes, are games that you get your entertainment out of them and then you hit a saturation point and then you just move on. This isn't so much going to be bespoke 2D platforming, so it's going to feel very different from, say, something like Castle of Illusion or Super Mario Brothers is a better example, I'm sure. Now weirdly, even though I can control everything with the keyboard when playing, I need the mouse to click next. Buy the outrun the fire first in the abilities, tap the fire pole when done. So, this coming soon is questionable 10 years down the line, as far as a game would be considered. And once you get the max on all of these, which may be very expensive, you will almost certainly then be at the saturation point of any unlockable or new content, but you probably will already be bored with the game before you got to the max of these, depending on the price. Yeah, 150k is quite a lot, seemingly. Although collecting the kittens and the tutorial seemed to give me 60k. Let's see. Jones can outrun the fire if it catches up. Next rank Jones outruns the fire if she avoids falling long enough. Yep. And there's a small amount of achievements overall in the game. Yeah. You can also see some other pickups that would be helpful. Some super boosts. Some cosmetic hats for cats. Check out, see for yourself why hats are the cat's pajamas. Check out the noir sequel, Hot Tin Roof the Cat That Wore a Fedora. And that just straight up launched a web browser. Wasn't really expecting that. Yeah, let's see. It seems to me like it might be a soundtrack. Nope, it's an advertisement for their next game. Okay. Well, good to know. Yeah, I didn't ever really pay any attention. Alright. So, you can walk on flaming things, and you'll get into kind of a pattern of arcing your jumps and trying to get as many as possible. Now, no real penalty here for missing some. Only a penalty if you hit fire and then you have this giant flame wall behind you. Now, is this what a fireman does normally? Not really. Like, you wouldn't put yourself in such a situation. And I assume if you hit the firewall, you lose and have to start all over again, and you don't get to keep any of your kitties, which might be a problem later down the line because you potentially would end up hitting a plateau point or a difficulty spike and not being able to get through the next level to get enough currency to get some unlocked that might make the future levels easier. So, Hazard 1 was completed. Jones charged into the fray, saving 48 kitties and 0 golden kitties. Beyond the concrete wall, the firestorm rages and grows. Hazard bonus 2 times, earned 96k. So that gets us one mission done, and it takes us some progress towards these challenges. Outrun the fire 10 times. If you don't, the kitties will cry. Suppose if you don't like cats, which Dalmatian dogs are more universally associated with firefighters, Rescue 200 kitties, jump over 20 burning logs, outrun the fire 10 times. And then our personal high score of 156, which I imagine tweeting something nowadays, since Twitter has changed its name to X and shut down its APIs, may be a lot more difficult, if not impossible, for a lot of these old games that haven't been updated. Which, if anything, I think that highlights how relying on a service you don't control can go bad 10 years later. Well, apparently there's a daily reward, again, very mobile, as far as this is a game that wants you to play it a little bit every day, more than a game that you would want to play in one long game session with. But apparently, when the kitties won the lotto, and shared their windfall, kitties are surprisingly lucky. Next hour, I was told the next reward, 24. So, there might be some benefit, certainly, to playing just a little bit every day and then coming back, and then you would get 5,000 G, which maybe the gold coins are worth a lot more than the regular coins. And here we have yet another advertisement for their next game, Hot Tin Roof. There definitely was a point, certainly 10 years ago, where, let's click on the looter box. These are the missions we just saw. Yeah, there's definitely a point, particularly 10 years ago, where this is the maximum that a cell phone could actually render in a smooth frame rate. But we've progressed by leaps and bounds over that. So, increase your health with fireproofing. Charge jump. Jones gains the ability to jump while charging. Jones can jump while in the middle of a charge. I could buy that. Mid-air charge. Jones can charge mid-air. It's not really what I want, though. Catnip for 20 gold would occasionally show up in levels. We can't afford that. First aid kits for 20 gold. Kitty's blessing for 20 gold. Okay. Can't afford instant catnip. Plus, I'm not sure if instant catnip and things like this are one-time purchases. And then we can just increase the hazard level to get more of a multiplier. It definitely would be a mistake, though, to buy hats first. So, 20 gold for that. 75 gold for that. 100,000k for that. 100,000k for that. Wow, the prices are incredibly high. There's just nothing you can do with that small amount. Now, I can already tell you that there's a bit of a flaw here in that the keyboard is what I want to use, but the mouse is what you're using in the menu, and it doesn't do you the kindness of like saying 3, 2, 1, start. So particularly in later runs, I could see myself just really oops, I jumped over a golden kitty there. I could see really accidentally running into flame in the first second or two in a lot of runs. Inherently though, because you're using a mouse and keyboard, and because I am not a mouse and keyboard player, this really just doesn't feel anything like what a 2D platformer would feel like in my mind. Like, I totally would want a controller support. Let's see. Let's see if we can go to the menu and reset non-currency data. Why would you want to do that? Yeah. There's no options here for changing the controls. There's no options here for using the keyboard. You could use the old application joy to key to potentially map keyboard inputs to a joystick. There's limited amounts of things it seems like you can do, because you can't like jump up and then jump down quicker, so it will be the same loop each time, the same arc and angle. Eventually you're going to obviously need a dash in the air ability or an attract ability, but already on this third run you can already see the game is going to be fairly redundant. Plus I had the mouse cursor in the way, which I'm not super happy about that. We're at 664,000, which, yeah. Stumble over 10 logs with a few stub toes for a happy meow. Or jump over this. Outrun the fire 10 times. So to get both of these quests now, I would have to actively just like try and fail. Which, okay, we'll do that. It's a weird way to play, and it's a weird way for a game to ask you to play. Stumble on that, and then outrun the fire, which is really just a matter of time. My upward momentum doesn't do anything. Find an appropriate log to stumble on. It could have stumbled on that one. Right. Stumble there. And outrun the fire again. There we got a gold kitty. Really is just up and down, up and down. In a weird way, it's like this is even an oversimplified 2D platformer, which really it isn't a platformer because you're not jumping on platformers and you're not jumping on platforms and going to the left and right. It is really an infinite runner. Now that I think about it, so I'm totally off base. Yeah, this is an infinite runner game, which shares a simplified gameplay mechanic to platforming, but it's way too simple. Way more simple than even the earliest of games like Mario Brothers in the arcade, not to be confused with Super Mario Brothers. So 5 golden kitties, stumbling some more. One of the things you will run into, certainly, it seems like you're going to get just more and more kitties around here. Though, in a lot of games like this, is you have a somewhat strong start, although in this case, I would question if it even is that big of a strong start. You're getting an achievement, by the way, for every one of these that you purchase, so if you want to get all the achievements on Steam and have the game highlighted, then you would have to unlock all the achievements and stick with the game. As far as I remember, that is all this is. It gets more difficult, but it's not like it speeds up or anything, or you speed up. It's really just a matter of good timing. Maybe hopping on the tops of things might get you a little bit of a boost, but I don't think it does. And that's Hazard 5 complete. We are just on the verge of having 20 gold. But I kind of question how many hazards you can really even do before you start to run into trouble. Now I got this air charge, but I'm not sure how to activate the air charge. Let me see if maybe the space button does something. Nope. So there might be a perfect arc jump where you landed on the top of a wood thing. And that might get you a little bit of a boost, outrun things. And some of these I am stumbling on very naturally. I'm not just intentionally stumbling on them. So we're at 23 gold. And we're at Hazard 6. Soon to do Hazard 7. So we could survive a total of 3 hits before falling, or save up to outrun fires more quickly. So we bought this charge jump. Jumping in the middle of a charge causes a super jump. I don't know how to do a charge though. We may very well have just not unlocked charge abilities. Attract any nearby kittens, which would give you more currency. Regain 2 health. Ignores all damage for a period of time. So, more currency is definitely the right move. But we haven't gotten to a point, it seems, until they even are willing to talk about chargers. Which might mean something. we may still be in the introductory section of the game before we get to the level 10. You have the higher fires there, but I don't think they really matter that much because your default jump is high enough to jump over them. I'll say that stumble was semi-intentional. But you stumble on the logs and you don't actually take health, so it makes the game feel like you have more health than you probably really do. Because my concern here is that we've already lost one life, and I question if maybe that is out of the entirety of your experience with this game. And once we run out of the remaining 2 lives, we may just be done. When you have games that are so built around challenges, you have to really balance your game to unlock those features. I guess we'll just buy this. And we can't really afford anything else, so it'll probably be a fairly long time before I can unlock anything else. So you're left to just get good, for lack of a better term, at jumping over fires. I guess I kind of applaud this game for feeling, whoops, screw that up once, and you're probably going to screw it up a second time. I kind of like how this is kind of kid-friendly. You're not burning things down, you're running from fire, although as a firewoman you're not actually doing the ethical, moral. Now, do I really need a countdown to say continue here? No. Do I have 16 gold kitties? No. So, yeah. That's kind of nice. So, the run was completed. It didn't completely end our run, I don't think. The firestorm roared at hazard 8, but Jones saved 52 kitties and 0 golden kitties as she fell. The Meow Squad leapt in action, pulling her out at the last minute. The fire is beaten back now, but for how long? So we got a hazard bonus of 6 times the 52 kitties, which if we gotten a gold kitty, we would have gotten 6 golden kitties, I suspect too. And no progress on any of the challenges, maybe because I died, maybe just because I didn't do any of those things. And then we get to that point. So, let's see. After action run report, total kitties earned was 2,392, and then 12 gold kitties. After the screen closes, tap to run when you're ready to save more kitties. So we can either ignore or we can go to the store, which I assume the store is this store up here, which is questionable what you could purchase. So you don't hit a difficulty spike, at least. You do hit a point where the regular kitties seem to be fairly useless. Because everything seems to be priced in gold kitties, which we haven't seen any of this catnap yet. So I can buy instant health, which would start the next level with extra health. Start the next level with the attract kitties. So at some point maybe you just buy this, then you buy a level above this, then you buy a level above this to give yourself a really big bonus. And seems like at some point you will just increase hazard levels because you have nothing else to do with the regular currency. Meanwhile, I guess you are otherwise just saving up for the hats. And it's a little weird that the hats are not really doing anything. So I don't think I could actually do anything with the amount of currency I had. We did that little tutorial at the beginning, but I didn't see them say, I don't recall them saying anything about charging. When I press up twice, nothing happens. When I press up and to the right, nothing happens. When I press up and down, that happens. Okay. So, yeah. You do that. Press up, then down. But really only in certain places, also. And the charging, I imagine, is a way of outrunning the fire, and that catnip was just a box. It doesn't really feel like charging actually lets you outrun the fire, though. Seems like you literally just have to keep on going. And these runs are only so long, at least at the beginning. They may get super long later on, however. So 2G for that, but no multiplier on that. Get all the way to the firehouse on level 2. Jones once did it in her sleep. Rescue 2 more golden kitties and stumble on 3 more logs. Which I really have to just intentionally stumble on the logs. What? I was pressing my keyboard and it wasn't working. Oh, that is a problem. Is I do have a wireless keyboard that I've never really been able to find a replacement for. I like the layout of the keyboard, but increasingly the Logitech wireless reception on it seems to get worse and worse. And I'll type as a pretty fast typer, I'll type for 4 or 5 seconds and then it'll take Windows a while to catch up. I bet the move when you have catnip is probably the dash. That way you can be closer to the kittens and pick them up. But yeah, it does look like you've effectively already seen everything there is to see in the game. And on mobile, there might be a better argument to come back to a game like this, whereas you have unique limitations that you just wouldn't have on a PC, in the fact that you're playing this with a keyboard with no controller support, and and the fact that I have a fairly expensive graphics card, which is not being implemented and used to any real level challenge. The audio is not impressive for a PC game, and so everything is just held to a higher standard. And only slightly recently have there been maybe 3 or 4 mobile games that have started to feel like they are even approaching the level of quality of a good PC game, even a single A PC game or an independent PC game, like let alone AA games or AAA games. And even 10 years in the past, having just played Epic Mickey 2, the graphics were way better than this. They were clearly working within their limitations. Tippy toe touched the top of 5 burning logs. Jones, dick scars even on the feet. Which, that's a weird characterization of your character. There's certainly something to be said also about really just kind of abandoning your game when there's room here for a little bit of improvement, I think. Like, a little more variety in the colors of cats probably wouldn't have been a problem. A little bit more variety in the backgrounds. A little bit more variety on the types of things you have to jump over. You could certainly see pools of mud that would slow you down, or pools of water that you could slide on. Let's just go ahead and click no. You can see the kittens throwing her in. Your big bonus is when you die, you want to go as far as you can, but yeah. Overall, charge through 20 walls of fires. Kitties hate fire, and so does Jones. And I suspect Hot Tin Roof as a game, not even knowing what it is probably not much more ambitious. Maybe a little bit more ambitious. So, jumping in the middle. So you could maybe jump, charge, then jump again. I'd have to see if I even can pull that off. Can we really afford anything? Like, we can afford that. And then I think we're still fairly limited as far as what else we can afford. Having to purchase hats on the cats instead of just having that kind of level variety in the game. Overall, it would probably be nicer if you just got that variety as you continue to play. Games like this probably do work better if they unlock content for the amount of time you play, regardless of how well you actually are playing them. So we'll try and charge through firewalls. See what that looks like. Now weirdly, when I am charging, I'm trying to see if that would jump up again. But it doesn't really feel like I can do that, but maybe I haven't unlocked that ability yet. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what I have unlocked. Or it might be a case that you slide on the ground, and in sliding on the ground you can then jump and break out of the slide. That'd be believable. I still think I need to trip over a couple of... Alright, so there was dashing through a firewall. Go ahead and intentionally stumble on that. Because that didn't even cause the firewall to show up. The arc is fairly wide, so you're not really getting a lot more cats by trying to find an arc when they are all vertically aligned in columns. But I can already tell you that Hazard 1 and Hazard 2 feel a little too easy. Need to stub our toe one more time. Charge under 15 logs. Jones gets down and dirty for kitties. Yeah. What it really feels like is because they are more arrow shaped. The vertical columns are really more arrows, is that you need to pick one or the other to arc upward to get 2 out of the 3. In these early hazard runs though, it's pretty obvious that what was I gonna say? I'm starting to actually focus on the game. Yeah. Seems like there's probably only about 100 kitties in each run. Which does certainly open up the possibility that you can get a perfect run on particularly lower level hazard runs, and then that would just be it. Although it almost seems like if you were going to pull that off, you would have to do it by buying boosts. Yeah. And I don't think that there's a finishing point here. There probably is a point where it just gets ridiculous. Let's see. Ability to jump while charging. Charging just being the sliding action. So, ability to charge in mid-air. Ah, so that's what I've been using. But you really only are getting 1 gold. Like, 1 catnip per run. So, maybe getting more catnip and saving our gold for that is your best bet. It probably is. Meanwhile, I need 10,000 kitties. Or 10,000 kitties. That's a currency. Still can't afford that one. Can't afford that one. We can't afford that one, so there's actually nothing here I can afford. I'll continue to charge. Charge and slide. Whoops. Well, actually, because it's two arrows when they're in arrow formation, those vertical ones, really, you would have to probably put a lot of thought into it. But yeah, with the arrows that way, jumping in the first arrow would arc you downward in the second one. And that would probably give you 4 out of 6 kitties. You have really no cooldown, though. Let's just dash as fast as possible. It's weird, you don't have a sound effect playing here for when you have the catnip. And that was a decent run, and didn't get to keep any of that. Yeah. Pretty obviously, you should have a sound effect play when you have the catnip going, and it should be a timing indicator that the catnip is about to run out, so that you can change your behavior based on that. Yep. And there is something perhaps a little hypocritical on my part, in that if this game was released on Steam today, since I live stream and look at every single game that comes out on Steam, I would not give it a second chance. I would say this looks like low polygon infinite runner, and I would dismiss it completely at that level. I imagine fairly quickly you're going to run out of these challenges. Buy one boost, go to the shop, select super boosters, and go hog wild. Let's do that. But I think we are probably approaching a point where I don't think it really is necessary to make any more episodes or play this game anymore. I'm very possibly only got a little bit further in this game the first time I played it before kind of losing interest, and yeah, this is perhaps an inherent problem with infinite runners in general, is that they never really are that good. Okay. Instant catnip. Twice as long for 5 gold. And then attract kitties for the entire level for 20 gold. Is there anything else? 1 extra health. And this. And then this. And this. And this. So this way we go out with a bang. Yeah, pretty obviously there'd be nothing else we can afford. So guess I don't really have to do anything here. Just don't run into trees and charge through fires, which means I can spend the entirety of the level mostly just avoiding damage. I assume with this I'm going to collect every kitty in the whole level, which doesn't let me figure out if there is actually 100 kitties in the levels. That is if I just make it all the way to the end. Well, that was the last life. But if you go out big and die, we still saved 93 kitties and 1 golden kitty, which feels like there might have been 100 in the entire level. But weirdly, our hazard bonus here is only 6 times at hazard 8 instead of 8 times. And so that gives me 6 gold kitties and 558 kitties of the regular style. Let's see. Yeah. From what it feels like, having put an hour into this game, doing what I technically would consider a quick load, another hour, and I probably could make somewhere around half as much progress. Like, I imagine that's how this would boil down. Like, nothing here is really going to increase your gold pickups. You just want to save until you had 55 gold to get catnip and just upgrade that first. First aid next, and then Kitty's blessing after that, and then maybe go back and forth between those two. You're going to end up with just massive amounts of the regular currency, so jumping up your hazard level if you're spending a whole bunch of things with instant health and instant catnips and things like that would make sense to just do one large run like I did. And otherwise you're just gonna have to save up to buy the cat hats for achievement reasons, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's Jones on Fire. Perhaps not really worth it, depending on what the price is. If you could get it for 69 cents, maybe even at that you would still want to play it on a mobile game. It's a shame Steam doesn't really have their own app store in which you can buy mobile phone games that also have PC versions. I'm always happy when a PC port is made for mobile phone games, just for the accessibility reasons and the compatibility reasons, but this really just doesn't compare to what you really would want in a PC game. So yeah, to not drone on too long, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me further, there's some links down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.